My Friend's Old House, written by you/4thdegreeknight. This story is not my own, but I was kind of involved, as my best friend would often confide in me over the years that this happened. My best friend, for this story I will call him Alan, as I wouldn't want to use his real name. We've known each other since the early 90s and quickly became best friends. Going back about 18 years or so, he and his ex went through a semi-rough divorce and had one baby together. Once they split up, he ended up moving into a house in the neighborhood he grew up in. I think he literally lived a few houses down from his childhood home. His parents didn't live on that street anymore, and his dad suddenly passed away a few years before when this story takes place. My friend Alan is the biggest skeptical you could ever imagine. He doesn't believe in anything spiritual, ghosts, or supernatural. He is not religious and didn't grow up in a religious family. Complete opposite of me. I tend to believe in some supernatural, and I am religious. So, after his divorce, he met a nice lady who also had a couple kids, and they eventually got married and combined their families together. The house they moved into on his old neighborhood always seemed really dark and depressing. Not that it wasn't a good house, just had that feeling to it. Even my wife called the place heavy, like there was a weight once you walked inside. Alan would mention oddities that would happen, like he said that he spent the evening trying to trace an electrical shortage somewhere. I asked him what happened and he said, well, the hallway light was flickering. He said he was lying in his bed and noticed that the hallway light was on, then started flickering. But when he got up to go look at it, it had stopped. There were a lot of little oddities that happened over the few years they lived there, he would mention to me. Like his dog would bark at any empty room or at a corner and sometimes into the hallway. Doors that were closed were later found to be open. Weird smells, not bad, just like he would smell something sweet, or sometimes like if someone had smoked, to which he would drill his older stepson. Another time he saw someone in the backyard and grabbed his gun and flashlight and no one was there. All of these he either attributed to the house being old or the kids messing around, until one day he was home alone. His wife and stepkids were doing some shopping and picking up dinner. He was in the hallway bathroom with his daughter and he saw a lady walk down the hall. He had his back half turned to the hallway but thought his wife had come home, so he called out to her and she didn't answer. He said he called out louder and thought, why is she ignoring me? He got up from the bathroom and went to the bedroom and no one was there. He started checking the house and looking outside. His wife's car wasn't there. He got a little freaked out, thinking it was an intruder, so he put his daughter in his bedroom and looked at every door which was locked. He thought to himself, what just happened? When he told me the story, I said, maybe you caught a glimpse of a ghost. He said, no, it couldn't be. I said, well, I know you don't believe, but maybe true. He said he refuses to believe in that. I asked him why, and he said he wouldn't be able to sleep at night if it was true. A couple months go by and he starts having these really weird sleeping episodes. At first he thinks it's something medical and went to his doctor. We ran all kinds of tests and found nothing. You see, he would be sitting in his recliner watching TV with the family, then suddenly would start having a fit, like mumbling with his eyes closed, drooling, then start mumbled screaming, like if he was yelling with his mouth closed, and just as sudden as it happened, it went away. His wife and the kids were terrified. It happened about 6 to 7 times during that period. Other oddities, like the shadows of a woman, happened once more to a family member who was staying over for a visit. The door thing and the bathroom light and hallway light would turn off or on at times. Alan would have his daughter on weekends, sometimes to spend the night. She started to also get fits, for lack of a better explanation. She was about 1 or 2 years old at the time, and on one occasion she turned blue and had to be taken to the emergency room. Just right before they moved out of that house, my wife and I went over to visit during the holidays, and my wife kept nudging me that she wanted to leave. And actually, we both felt so cold, like we just couldn't get warm, but for her, she felt uneasy in the house. So that was my first-hand experience of whatever was in that house. Right before they moved away from that house, a very tragic event happened to the family. So tragic I can't even post it here, as I don't feel it's my right to even mention it. However, once they left that house, no more problems or anything bad happened to them anymore. They moved away, out of that neighborhood and out of that city, almost 2 counties over. About a year after they moved away, there were still some tragic events happening on that street. The neighbor next door to that house had a teenage daughter who hung herself in the backyard. And about 9 months to a year after that incident, down the block, a husband who was going through a divorce shot and killed the entire family and put the gun to his head. The last thing I heard was a story how the house was rented out to a young family who lived there a few months before leaving suddenly and had left most of their belongings behind. Alan still refuses to believe in anything spiritual or supernatural, but now says he just thinks he doesn't know and doesn't want to know.